In this topic, you will learn how to enter purchase invoices. Now, using the purchase invoices function, you're able to record all invoices and credit memos coming from the suppliers. You can create, view, modify, and validate to generate your financial transactions. To create purchase invoices, you first define your invoices categories and types. Now, there are 5 invoice categories that you use to define your invoice types, including invoice category, where you can create standard invoices for receipts, purchase orders not yet invoiced, purchase orders for not receipted goods, and also additional invoices type for additional costs. There's the credit memo category for credit memo returns, which is related to product returns, and the credit memo type, which may or may not be products related. There's a debit note category related to debits related or may not be related to products. There's a credit note category, which are credit invoices to cancel an invoice totally or partially in case of errors to the price or in the quantity. There's pro forma or complementary invoice category, which may come from the supplier of a third party for transportation or custom costs. Now, when creating an invoice, not only do you select the entry transaction or the data entry screen, but you select the origin, which could be from supplier invoice credit notes. This allows picking invoices issued by another company. Could be order selection. Another possibility is to create the invoice picking the order. This order may have receipts or not. Could be receipt selection. An order can be created by picking receipts with or without an order. There's also invoice selection. In the case of a complementary invoice, the original document may be an invoice or a receipt. There's return selections, auto-generated for product purchase returns. There's sales invoice credit note selection. This is for sales invoice credits. Now, when entering a purchase invoice or credit memo, you can have the following invoice statuses. There's suspended, which means the invoice is not completed and cannot be confirmed. There's confirmed, which means all values between the invoice or supplier invoice document are checked, which means the invoice can be posted. And finally, validated. The invoice can no longer be modified, and it's already posted and in the general ledger. Let's take a look at entering a purchase invoice. You purchase some raw materials and receive them, and along with that you receive an invoice, and you're ready to enter it into the system. To do that, we go to Purchasing, and we go to the Invoices block and Invoices. As mentioned earlier, you select the entry transaction or the data entry screen. You can see on the left list all the invoices in the system, some posted and some not. To create a brand new invoice, we click New, and then we enter the site. Also, the invoice type, as mentioned earlier, we select the invoice type. I'll select Regular. The regular is basically, and the category shows invoice, which is just a standard invoice. The entry number is the document number field on creation that will generate. The accounting date that you wanted to post to the general ledger, and then you enter the supplier. You can see in the field the AP, which is the control account that actually comes from the accounting code coming from the supplier record itself. Down in the Management tab, we enter in the supplier document. You can change the pay to, the currency, the daily rate, or the management section. You have internal reference where you can enter a free-form field that you can use. You can see the due date basis, the terms, settlement discount if you want to put a code there to have a discount if it's paid early. Also a tax rule that's there. If this was a service, you can put a start and end date for service. If it was 1099 track, it would show the form, the box, and the amount. Invoicing elements allows you to add additional charges. Analytical is for the dimensions, a comments free-form field that you can use, and the amount and status. As you can see, the status says it's to validate. So we've entered in the information on the header. Because this was a products received, we select receipt selection, and it'll show all the outstanding receipt. To select the receipt, we check the box here. It populates the line comes up. We'll bring the line up in our pop-up view mode. Now the source on the line itself, this is from a receipt. It can also be from miscellaneous. It can also be from an order. You also look at the type field. This is a purchase type, but it could be fixed assets or services. If it's fixed asset or services, you'll be prompted to use a different account number for the accounting purposes. Now there are also additional fields, project field if it's related to a project, fields related to distribution, which allows you to do allocations to different dimensions, different tax codes that you can actually enter into the system as well. Next we go to the control tab. Control tab is where the invoicing elements would actually show up, taxes show up as well. Plus it also shows you the variance for the total. This is where you're probably going to get your total. It's 307. It shows you it's 307 off. You have to make sure that you enter in the correct figure in the totals field here, because the status says it's pending. Once I enter that information in, 307, you notice it says it's to validate now. Next, we create. On creation, the document number is generated. Also, you can see it says to validate, meaning that you can post it. On the cost tab, it shows the costing. Next, we see in the right panel, we have open items, matching, and post. Open items allows you to make modifications to the due date, to the payment method, split the amount over several different months, add a discount code or charge code, statement, whether it's going to be on a statement or not, change the default to say for not approval. If you decide for not approval, you can actually put a dispute code, the business partner address change. If payments were applied, it would show payments, provisional payments. Also, if there was a statement that was distributed, it would show that information as well. These are things that you can modify before you post, and there are some that you can modify after the post. The match results basically says if a code has been entered that says what I purchase is what I should be received, either by amount, by quantity, or by percentage. You would have to set that up prior to, and you can see the match results. Next, you post, and you just click the post icon. As you can see, it said when it's validated, you can no longer make any modification except some with open items. You click OK, and you get a log that says it's actually been validated and posted. As you can see, it's now not available. The next thing you can see down in the statuses area shows that it has been validated. There are also additional features that you could have added text on the header, text on the footer of if you wanted to print out a document, change the billing address, payment address, customs information you can see, invoicing inquiry, plus you can also view the transaction in the GL by clicking on Zoom and Accounting Document. And finally, if you were entering in multiple different invoices and wanted to post them as a group, you can use invoicing validation. And now you know how to enter a purchase invoice and all the different options that you have available to you.